So I get this question an awful lot about creating AI employees, and people when they start, they realize that in a system like N8N, you go create an agent, and the agent needs a system prompt, and like, well, I wrote something and it didn't work, and the problem there is very very simple. You asked the wrong question. Okay. And that's one of the core principles here of leadership, right? Whether you're leading humans or you're leading AI, it's all about the questions that you ask. And we must ask better questions. Now, I talk a lot about asking better questions, but right now I want to focus on asking better questions in system prompts. Okay. And I want to show you this is just one of the processes that I use in order to help myself ask better questions inside of N8N. Okay. So we're going to start off here actually in ChatGPT, and I'm using the O3 model. And I've created a project called N8N. And I've given this project some instructions. Now, I've created some projects that have instructions that are literally pages long. This one, super simple. You're an expert coder in N8N that knows JavaScript and handling JSON objects and all objects and tools in N8N. So basically, I'm telling it, you know N8N, you know JavaScript, and you know how N8N communicates between different objects using JSON. You will provide coding help to the user to accomplish their task. So then it knows you're going to be writing code for me. That's what I need you to do. Okay. All right. So that's the instructions that we have given the project. And again, the entire purpose there is to narrow in the domain so that everything that it tells us should be N8N related. Everything that it tells us should be N8N related. Okay. So I'm going to open up this chat that I had here, and I did a little early, and I'm going to walk you through it. Okay. And we'll walk you through how I create a system prompt. So here we're creating, it's not really an employee, it's more of a tool that does subject line formulas. And we're probably going to be putting this on in a chat bot. And so you can just chat to it and it will send you back subject line formulas. It's probably how we're going to be using this tool. Okay. But it's a big thing because we send lots of emails and we always need to be able to create subject lines that cause people to open, because that's one of the things that we track is what's the open rate on our emails that we're sending. And we're always looking to optimize that. Okay. So I gave it two files. One that I created actually several years ago, subject lines that sell. And this is just a list of subject line formulas and examples of how to use them. Okay. Created it back in 2022, I think. We created that. Then also created, using deep research in ChatGPT, Perry Belcher's copywriting expert. So what this is, I went to, in ChatGPT, I did a deep research on Perry Belcher, and I said, okay, Perry's really great at writing emails. What are the principles that Perry has taught on writing emails? Just distill the principles that he's taught. And that's what's in that document. Okay, so I gave chat those two documents, and then I asked it this question. I said, I am writing the system prompt for an AI agent. That is exactly what I'm doing. That will receive a query from the user that has the transcript of content and ICP, ideal customer profile, info. Then look at this, I'm not even good English here, and determine which subject line formula to use. Okay. So I'm telling it that I'm going to give it, right? I'm going to give this agent a transcript, and I'm going to give it information about the ideal customer profile. Okay. And I wanted to determine first, what's the best subject line formula to use. Then it will write the subject line and return 5 suggestions. So I'm going to get back 5 suggestions. So it's going to tell me, it's going to determine which formula is best to use based on the information I gave it. And then it's going to write 5 suggestions for me so that the user can choose which one. Please help me write the prompt. Now you notice my English wasn't good in this prompt. Heck, my spelling sucks in this prompt, right? Okay. But what we have here is the entire structure of what is needed. I told it what I'm doing. I told it what I needed help with. I told it what information I'm going to give it. And I also told it what I expect the output to be, right? So I gave it the information, even though I can't spell, and even though I didn't even write in great English, I gave it all the information that it needs, right? Then it returns to me a system prompt for your N8N agent node, right? Again, we know that it's doing, it knows it's working inside of N8N, right? Everything inside the box should be copied verbatim. Everything should be copied verbatim, okay? All right, so here we go. Now it gave me the system prompt. You are a subject line sensei, an AI copywriter that always chooses the single best subject line formula for the user's message and ideal customer profile. Then it goes through it. It says what the mission is. It says you're going to receive 2 inputs. Now, these 2 inputs would be variables that were in N8N that were passed from the previous node. Okay, so you would put the variables there, analyze them and discover, find a core hook, find the dominant emotional driver. Then it tells it to pick one subject line formula from the library below, right? It also gives it instructions, don't invent a formula, okay? All right, and then it talks about A/B testing. Then write 5 subject line candidates that obey these rules. So not only did it know, again here, I wanted 5, but looking at Perry's document, it went through and picked out, okay, this is how, some of the rules behind writing good subject lines that we learned from Perry's document, right? The length, clear over curiosity driven. That's also very important. Capitalizes and sentence structure, 1 emoji, right? Personalized. Yes, very good. Now it's going to tell us, but no, it's telling the system. So this is the system prompt is telling us how it's going to return the information. So it's going to return the formula, the reason it chose the formula, and the 5 subject lines. That's what's going to go back to the user. Then here are the subject line formulas from my document with examples that it pulled from there as well, and then some style guidelines. Okay, so all I've got to do is take this and go to N8N and copy it into my node, my AI agent node. So when you're looking at how to create great system prompts for anything that you're doing inside of N8N, I have found that it is absolutely wonderful to start here in ChatGPT, the O3 model, describe what you're looking to do, and let ChatGPT help you craft the prompt. Now, here's the next piece of beauty with this is if you did this and you went and you executed the agent or the chat inside of N8N and it didn't do what you expected, then you can come back to ChatGPT and say, hey, this is what happened when I gave it your prompt. How should I correct this? And then it will rewrite the prompt. And so you can iterate through this to help you create the output and the outcome that you're actually looking for. Okay? This is how you ask better questions. You see, understand the tools that you have. You have tools at your disposal. Understand the tools, right? Understand the tools and allow them to help you do your work better. Listen, leadership is about asking great questions. That's the key skill to learn here. Asking great questions, and then where and who do you ask those questions to? Because obviously, if you ask a great question to the wrong person, you're not going to get a good answer. So here, ask a great question inside of ChatGPT. You can get a really great N8N answer.